Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Pocono Raceway, and this is live coverage of the Vertical Velocity Racing Cup Car 2024 series brought to you by CRN. This is a unique track, to say the least, for anybody that has not been here, not seen the track. It is known as the Tricky Triangle for many reasons. This thing is unique in every corner, and each corner is designed off of another racetrack. Corner 1 was designed off of the Trenton Speedway, which is now defunct. Turn 2 modeled after Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then turn 3 is relatively flat and designed off of tracks like the Milwaukee Mile or New Hampshire. But all three have their own sets of challenges, and it's going to put these guys to the test here tonight for sure. Carl Landmark joined in the booth by Jimmy Cobra. Jimmy, welcome home, buddy.
Just growing up as a kid, but I've spent more years away from Pennsylvania than actually in it these days. But I like on track. Got some experience visiting and watching races here, and it's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun watching them on the race and kind of getting that nostalgia. They come back. But yeah, you're correct about these. This track being tricky. I always say we call it the Tricky Triangle. The 3 different corners, and it does pose problem for some drivers. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these next gen cars can handle this track here tonight.
Like I'm having all kinds of issues on my end here, and hearing you roboting a little bit, and for some reason the video is completely stopped for me. It doesn't want to go, but we got a good size field out here tonight. I'll try and work on my little details here on the background, but it looks like 24 cars are set to go to qualifying here in just a few moments, and these guys will have 10 minutes and 2 laps as they normally do to see who is going to set the pace here tonight. And we've had kind of a fair share of different drivers that have kind of shown some speed this season, and quite a few different winners here on the season. But obviously there's been some cream that has risen to the top, and there's a reason that they're at the top of the boards. It's not just from wins, but it's from just out and out speed every single week. And a lot of the guys that you'll see here tonight have that speed are going to be up there as well. Dalton Kilroe was the points leader heading into Nashville, as unfortunately we don't have the results up from Nashville, but Dalton Kilroe, Derek Paulson have been some of the guys that had the class pretty much all season here. Joshua Divers has been throwing himself up there in the mix quite a bit. We'll see what he's got. And another one that has been showing some pace, got started a little bit later here in the season, Andrew Pileshi has been getting that 81 up there quite a bit, and it looks like he's got some speed here tonight, at least in practice. But we're going to switch it over here to qualifying. I'm going to try and get this thing working here on my side in the meantime. But Jimmy, I mean, what is it about Pocono? This place is a track that really there's a lot of people that just don't like it, and it can be the Tricky Triangle for some, and for some they look at this thing almost like a road course, and they just try and survive here tonight.
Yeah, you have the long straightaways, so you get tons of speed, but then you have these unique corners each and every single lap that you have to conquer and hit just right in order to maintain that speed. You don't necessarily need a drafting partner. It does help with coming down the straightaways and whatnot, but a driver that has the ability to hit his marks every single lap can pull away from the field all on their own here. And it does, like you said, it sort of drives like a road course, and it's because of its corners, but because it's so two drivers to kind of get that speed, but a little bit frustrated when it comes down to these corners.
We are starting qualifying right now, and again, these drivers will have 10 minutes to get this thing done. But I mean, this is getting close to our summer break here, so these drivers will have 2 more races here before they take a bit of a break here in the schedule, as we're going to have the race here tonight. Then next week we will have the race at Indianapolis, as that's going to get basically just pushed back a week. But then we will have a bit of a break all the way until August before we kick back into gear for the final 4 races of the season, that being Homestead, Darlington, Atlanta, and Iowa. Originally on the schedule, this thing was going to be set for 120 laps here at Pocono, but they've kicked it down here a little bit, and it's going to be an 80-lap race out here tonight. I think 80 laps is plenty long enough to decide who's going to be fast out here and who's going to grab the checker flag.
Yeah, I mean, getting fully that's like a whole new race sometimes here. Pocono, it does become, let's go through the driver's minds on like, when they should pit. I believe we get 60% fuel here again here tonight. It looks like Henry Gardini went ahead and got a long up there as far as, and Dalton Kilroy, as I have it up on the screen here, and then that number 41. I take it for the pole early here with a 54.215. So you're gonna see, these tires do go away pretty quickly, and they do have to kind of manage that side of the spectrum as well. So if these drivers are doing a good job, they have 8 minutes still. They got plenty of drivers that get out there. Looks like Andrew Pileshi racking in a little bit faster time with Dalton Kilroy with a 53.883. So he's going to take the top spot here temporarily until some of those other drivers get out there. But so far, Andrew Pileshi, Justin Lewis, Ty Morasco, Dalton Kilroy, Dustin Franklin, Len McNeese, Brandon Meir, Tim Lee, Gardini, Todd Merkel, and Mike Rideout. So that's your top 11 so far. They've got a little over half the field to come out here and get things done. So Carl's battling some internet grandmas as they attacked them early, kind of like last week where we had to postpone this race because I guess racing security with the DDoS, they had a little bit of trouble not being able to get into sessions and whatnot. So down for a while, and still in front of people maybe missing it or whatever it may be. They decide to call off the race and push it back this week. We were scheduled to be at Indianapolis this week, but they're going to put that race up later this season as they still have plenty of time remaining. Like I said, they're going to take a little 4-week break here and get a little rest and relaxation in the final month of the summer, basically, before the kids go off to school and whatnot. So if you're out there, you probably went on vacation already, or you're thinking about going on vacation. So if you do, you won't miss anything here at VVR, as they're going to go ahead and take that 4-week break. But qualifying still underway here, still 6 minutes remaining. Andrew Pileshi still on top. And it looks like we got Eric Blount and Mike Rideout and Mike Hasties on the board now. So 15 cars, still a few drivers out there trying to get some laps in. We got John Garrett out, just put in time. Mike Hasty put in a little bit faster time, moving him up to P number 10. Maxwell Caldwell, he was running pretty fast there with Andrew Pileshi. I've seen them running nose to tail during practice. So we'll see if that 95 can get up there with Andrew in order to maybe partner up and maybe break away from the rest of the pack. Because sometimes drivers like to run one there and try to kind of break away towards the end of the race before they start battling. But looks like Carl is back. Hopefully finishing up there, but we are good. We got 5 minutes remaining until we get good up and get underway.
Yeah, still trying to get this thing figured out. For some reason, it won't let me kind of copy off of you here tonight. So not sure what exactly the issue is. Maybe you can, if you can send me over the file again, see if that works. But yeah, it should be a good one out here tonight. And like I mentioned before, Andrew Pileshi showing some speed out here tonight. Justin Lewis right there as well. But Maxwell Caldwell was tops in practice. We'll see what he can do as he puts in a 4th place time right now in qualifying. Jimmy, it's been a fun little season here, and it's these next gen cars are a bit of a favorite for quite a few, but they don't exactly they don't handle anything like the other NASCARs out there. They don't handle anything like the Xfinity cars, like the trucks, and then with the new handling of the trucks after one of the most recent updates, they certainly don't handle like the trucks, but they kind of have their own style, and really the thing that kind of always catches me is the extra gears, the extra gears compared to the old ones. And there's a lot of times where here at Pocono in the old cars, you're going into all these corners and you're staying in 4th, maybe depending on the setup, maybe you're grabbing 3rd gear going into the first corner. But here with these cars, I think you're going to see a little bit more shifting, and not just in turn 1, but probably in turn 3 as well. As the extra gearing gives you the option to kind of get a little bit more bite through the corners, a little bit more bite off the corners as well.
Yeah, times have changed, gearboxes have changed, obviously the car has changed over the years, and yeah, I remember coming to this track, and, I watched win here back in the day, so I'm dating myself just a little bit, but, he was one of the first ones. He started shifting down through turn one, and it was just wrecking the rest of the field, and had a fantastic race and ended up winning. So it was good to see that thing, back then. And the drivers out there, I think they still remember some of that stuff. And when they get out there, they try it, and you're right, Carl. They're able to find that extra grip, because of the higher RPMs, the getting towards the peak of the horsepower instead of bogging the engine down, and able to get some better runs. And it all comes down with like saving tires here too, because this tire, it can be a monster. Yeah, this tire, this track can be a monster on tires, and it could really hurt your run. You can get off and you get these 53 second laps, and then turn around, you're running 55s and 56s because you heated up your tires too much, and they just become slick.
Well, yeah, I mean, the lack of banking here is certainly attributed to that. I mean, turn one has got by far the most banking, and that's only 14 degrees. You look at turn two, only 9 degrees, only 6 degrees in turn number 3, and as the famous saying on the wall, what turn 4? There is no turn 4 here at Pocono, but very little banking to speak of here, and with these high speeds, all you're doing is just shredding those tires, going through these flat corners, just trying to get that grip and trying to get that thing to rotate through the corners. So we certainly will see the tire degradation really come into play here tonight, and really see how these guys decide to take their sets of tires here tonight, as the field here is trying to bring it up here. They are limited with tires, and one fast repair, and that's kind of been the one thing that's been going back and forth throughout this season, is they've tried it out a little bit here and there with no fast repairs. The drivers will have one fast repair here tonight. Hopefully, for their sake, you don't have to use it, because even with a fast repair, a wreck here a lot of times involves a tow truck. They're very, very high speeds. Most of the time, the turn one or the exit of turn one is where we'll see a lot of kind of issues. Exit of turn two, though, is not without its problems. If you're trying to go in there too wide and you're the car on the outside, you better make sure that you got enough rotation coming off that corner, because the outside wall comes up very, very quick. Turn three, not too difficult as long as you're within a line or two on that inside. You can run that too wide if you need to. I mean, unless you're pushing it very hard, it shouldn't drift out to the outside. But again, if you take the wrong arc, just like any corner in racing, it's going to come up and bite you at the end. But speaking of the end, we are coming to the end of qualifying. Looks like it's going to wrap up here in a couple seconds. So Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown here of our race here tonight at Pocono?
Yeah, we'll get these qualifying up on the screen here for everybody to see. There it is. So tonight's race on the pole will be Andrew Pilecki in at number 81 car. Then alongside will be the 07 of Justin Lewis. Then Ty Marasco and Maxwell Caldwell will make up row number 2. Row number 3, Dalton Kilroe and Dustin Franklin. Row number 4, Tyler Hilton, Brandon Muir. Row number 5, Todd Merkel and Joshua Divers. Row number 6, Chris Moreland and Mike Hasty. And then we have Tim Lee and Len McNeese occupying row number 7. Row number 8 is going to be Eric Blount with Michael Pratt. Row number 9, Cade Green with Hemi Gardini. Row number 10 is going to be John Garrett and Mike Rideout. Row number 11, Brian Dees and Tim Williams. Row number 12 is going to be Ray Radford and Todd Poston. And last but not least, bringing up the back of the pack is going to be Gordon Larson in that 00. So a few of them drivers in the back did not qualify, just going to do their thing and try to get to the front. It's going to be a challenging feat, as it is pretty difficult to pass here, Carl, to be honest.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, you do have the long front straightaway. You do have the long pond stretch to get you some drafting in there and get you a chance to set up a pass. But it's completing that pass that can be the problem. If you're on the inside, which is going to be typically the line that you want to be running regardless, you still have to be able to keep that car underneath the guy above you, and more often than not, you'll see the guy that's going to be passed in that second line will be able to hold it because you get such a good run coming off the corner, and unless that guy is really good at tucking up alongside the car and getting a little side draft in, you're gonna have to fight all the way down the next straightaway just for another chance at the next corner. So it's something where you can get a little spicy, and maybe you have to throw a little semi asphalt slide job to try and get the pass done. But these guys got a lot of talent here. I mean, we've seen it throughout this entire season so far. There's talent throughout the entire field, and we've seen plenty of passing, and we've seen plenty of crazy moves, and a lot of them have stuck, and it's been a fun ride so far. So we'll see what these boys have in store for us tonight. Again, 80 laps on tap here around the Tricky Triangle, 2.5 miles of fun for us. I don't know if it's fun for these guys out here or not, but it'll sure be a blast. And hopefully you guys in Sierra Nation are ready for another great one here in the Virtual Velocity Racing 2024 Cup Series. I want to send a thank you out to everybody that's out there tuning in. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. And also a thank you to all our sponsors here for the season: Gold Line Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs. We are getting ready to fire these boys off. Jimmy, I know we had a broadcast here on Tuesday from Pocono Raceway, but it's always fun to come back here again and see how these guys tackle it. Obviously, on Tuesday we had the Core Xfinity Series. Now we got the Cup cars out here tonight, so it's going to be a little bit different experience for sure, and a lot of different names out here. So we'll see how these boys can handle it. But coming through at turn number 3, we're going to get this thing going green.
Yeah, again, we're going forward. We're on 3 turns here tonight, and definitely looking forward for these drivers to get started as they exit turn number 3 and get ready to come down this long straightaway.
Pace car makes that left-hand turn, and we are racing here at Pocono. Great sound heading past Barney there as they head off down into turn number 1. A little bit hazy, and it looks like we got a car starting from pit lane. It's going to be very interesting coming into turn number 1, as he's going to have to try and feed his way into the field. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that might be Dalton Kilrow that's trying to catch up with the back of the pack here and see if he can. Looks like he's just going to get back onto the track here. But heading off down a backstretch, Andrew Pileshi in the battle yet for the lead has not cleared, and still side by side into turn number 2.
Yeah, just continuing the battle. You can see these cars can't run too wide over here. It does make things pretty interesting here. We're down into turn number 3. As you can see them still side by side before they head down the trail.
Finally getting here, and Pileshi is going to lead lap number 1 here. But nobody's going to get away here, I think, tonight, unless it gets a little bit deeper into the run with these tires wearing off. It's a lot of good drafting here at Pocono. Justin Lewis is going to fall himself into second place right behind Ty Marasco. Maxwell Caldwell right there in 4th. Tyler Hilton already up 2 spots into 5th. And you got Dustin Franklin, Todd Merkel, Brandon Muir, Joshua Divers, and Chris Moreland making up that top 10.
Yeah, pretty much single file. And I think these drivers know they have 80 laps. They do have to kind of conserve a little bit of tire. You see a move there by Joshua Divers to the inside of number 34, Brandon Muir, as they head down into turn number 3.
Right there you see, looks like multiple lines are going to be used here tonight to get through some of these corners, especially early. It's nice fresh tires right now, and these boys want to get anything and everything that they can get. And you see right now the 2 just kind of hung out on the inside there, battling and trying to stay inside the top 10. But down that front stretch, if you got nobody on the inside with you drafting, it's going to be tough. Well, we got a caution already. Looks like it might involve Cade Queen. It looks like maybe the 24 as well.
Just a
big little shot there from the 17 Brian Dees into the 19. Hard impact into the outside wall for the 19 of Cade Green. And that's the situation right there. I see a lot of smoke. Hopefully it's just from the tires. But by the looks of it, he's going to have some trouble just getting that thing back into the pits, and he did end up having to tow the thing back into the pits. So a tough break there for Cade Green, and that's a situation where, like I talked about, I mean, these guys do have one fast repair, but he hit these walls so hard here at Pocono that a lot of times you can't even get back to the pits to use that fast repair under your own power. And now, even though he's got a fast repair, can get that thing all completely cleaned back up, he's going to have to wait, and he could go down a lap or two before he gets there.
I mean, it is a pretty long pace lap, and depending on that wreck there, he might be able to make it out on track. I wouldn't bank on it. That was definitely going to be a very challenging night there for the number 19 as he's down in the pits right now. They're still back on the backstretch, so like I said, hopefully his tow truck was quick on the hitch and down into the pits and get himself back on the lead lap. But anything can happen here. But I think, Carl, if we show the timing tower, I think that allows. Oh, everybody was on the lead lap, so we didn't have to worry about anybody being the lucky dog this time by.
Yeah, I think Dalton Kilroe came out there, but you start in the pits and you're still on the lead lap right there, so he was able to join in and get back in there. Unfortunately, Cade Green already down one lap. Looks like Gordon Larson not making the start here tonight. We'll see if he gets back in here at all, but we are under caution here at Pocono Raceway, lap at number 4 here, and just an early little mix-up there. Maybe the 19 getting on the brakes a little bit earlier than the 17 expected, but either way, we will have our first caution and already have some guys coming out of the pits, and a couple little fake outs there, and it's a pretty close fake out there from Maxwell Caldwell as he got very close to those barrels at the end of pit lane. But just a few guys towards the back coming into the pits, back half probably just coming in, maybe topping off here a little bit. Michael Pratt, Jimmy, I mean, am I missing something? He actually had a starting spot here tonight.
I mean, maybe just wanted to get out there, get a little more practice, as they had the week off. They were supposed to be at Indianapolis this week, like I was saying, but they chose to come back here to Pocono because of all the DDoS attacks that were happening, and they decided to cry because Iris was really close to being down, and up, and then down again. So instead of just kind of not knowing what's going to happen or be in the middle of a race, they decided to call, which was very smart for the league owners, and it's a rough decision as drivers set aside time during their week to come out here and have some fun, but it happens. It's the unfortunate events of the internet and people doing unnecessary things ruin people's fun. So but in case, they're out here, they're going to tackle 80 laps here at Pocono. You can see I have one early caution here, and it's not a common thing for BVR to have many cautions. They've had a couple rough races, but nothing to plague very yellow. So all good racing here. So if you're interested in these next-gen cars, they're pretty much they've been following the schedule where they've been going, and right now, like I said, they're going to take a little bit of break. But you can still get a hold of Tim Lee, or even us up here in the booth. We can get you in contact with Tim, and you can get out here and get yourself a driver's seat and get out there on the track.
Yeah, as we said, plenty of great racing out here from VBR all season. It's been a lot of good racing and a lot of green flag racing. We are under our first caution here tonight, and it's one thing that's kind of a little rough here at Pocono. The pace laps do seem long here, as it is 2.5 miles that these drivers got to get around, but it looks like we should be getting green and getting the green flag at this next time by, and it is still going to be Andrew Palesci leading these guys off. Justin Lewis, Maxwell Caldwell, Ty Marasco, and Dustin Franklin are going to be your top 5. Looks like Cade Green is finally back out there and on the track, but going to be a few laps down here. Everybody else, the rest of the top 23 are all on the lead lap. Again, Gordon Larson not making it out there in the field yet, but actually Cade Green looks like he's only shown as 1 lap down, and he is going to be able to catch the back of this pack. Jimmy, I'm not sure if it's showing the same on your screen, but I think you have the position numbers as the dots on the cars instead of the car numbers. That's what was throwing me off there a little bit on the start here. But either way, we will we'll get this thing back under green, and we'll get everybody caught back up here as Cade Green catching up to the back of the pack. Looks like John Garrett maybe gonna let him go by here, and we'll see. I don't think Cade Green's gonna get the wave around. He's gonna need another caution to get this thing back, because it's one track where no matter what kind of speed you have, you're not gonna just drive around and get your lap back by yourself and resume your racing. It's nobody is that fast here in the series, at least. But maybe letting him come around here. At least it looks like maybe these guys were guys that were in the pits this last time by. So we're gonna get going green this time. Cade Green's gonna need a caution to get back on the lead lap, but Andrew Pileshi is gonna be your control car coming out of turn number 3. Pace car is off. It's in the hands and feet of the 81, and he is back on the loud pedal. We are racing here at Pocono, and Justin Lewis diving down there to try and maybe get a little side draft and keep an eye on when Pileshi is leaving, as they're side-by-side jockeying a little bit for position, still side-by-side, heading off into one.
And you see the 81 down to the inside is going to use that early momentum to hopefully maybe be able to slide up in front of the 07. No, not able to clear him as much as he wanted to, so the 07 is going to get a run down the outside, heading down in turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like the 81 maybe just broke a little bit loose coming off the corner, still side-by-side right behind, as well as the 80 or the 95 of Maxwell Caldwell gets in there deep into the 1 of Ty Marasco. Hard impact to the outside wall. And that is going to be another one. And then the 71 not being able to break in time, going to get into him as well. So this is major incident here. You see the 1 doesn't even have a left rear that is working right there. He's going to have to really scramble to get back to pit lane, and not sure he's going to be able to. And it looks like he is going to stop and tow that thing back to pit road.
Dragging the rear on this one here. That's a back to swing one up as SDK was a little bit slow to catch what happened here with the 1. And see what happens here. Oh, 95 gets a little tight.
To me, that looked like some major netcode. Honestly, it looked like it made it seem like the 95 made contact with the 1 before he actually did, and it got them really upset. They're down into the 02 of Tyler Hilton, so some damage on the 02 here as well. And this is just, I mean, it's worst case scenario here for the 1 sliding up across the track. The 6 getting impact again. Eric Blunt, I mean, he gets a lot of camera time here for all the wrong reasons. It seems like he is involved in a lot of these wrecks, and most of the time it's not even his fault. And here's another situation here, the 1 just sliding up across the track, and really not really much room to make a maneuver right there. But going to bring us under another caution here, Jimmy, and that one, I think, I mean, maybe we can take a look at it again, but I think that was our old friend netcode coming into play.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and rewind that again one more time, since we have an extended amount of time here, and we'll go ahead and hop on board with the who is that, the 74 Dustin Franklin. Maybe we can see, as we looks ahead there on the 1, what happened here as they head through turn 2. So we're watching the 95 on the inside.
And right there, just
that's just like weird.
A huge. I mean, it happened so abruptly. I don't feel like that was the 95 making a move like that. I mean, it literally looks like the car turns directly to the right, and you can see there was zero chance of them making contact before that happened. So that is a rough situation right there, especially for the 1 of Marasco, and he's another one that it feels like, more often than not, he gets caught up into something, and usually early on in the race that kind of ruins his night. So hopefully he can get that thing repaired and back out here. But man, just an unbelievable situation. We'll try and jump on board here with Caldwell and see, if we can see any kind of erratic maneuvers inside the car. But again, it seems like he's drifting up here a little bit out of turn 2, and then all of a sudden the thing just snaps on him. So I'm not sure what the case was, if it was loose and he was trying to save it. It didn't seem like it was loose, but man, that was a quick moment right there. And Marasco and a few others are going to pay the price because of it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and one's obviously gonna have a lot of time and work to do here tonight as we're on lap 9 of 80. Justin Lewis will lead them down to begin the next lap. They're still under yellow. Lights are still on the pace car. I'll jump on the nose there. You can see the lights on the pace car and on the side of the track. So yeah, I mean, it's going to change it up just a little bit. We'll see if Andrew Blushy can get a run on the 7 this time and get back out front. But yeah, the drivers right now is Justin Lewis, Andrew Blushy, Brandon Muir, Dustin Franklin, Todd Merkel for your top 5, then Joshua Divers and Mike Hasty, Chris Morlin, Tim Williams, Mike Rideout for your top 10.
Well, I think I already have my question answered for me, but if you're Justin Lewis here, it's twice now that you've put up one heck of a fight on that outside lane here on the restart, so now he is the control car, and as far as I know, it's his choice as far as what line he wants to choose, but looks like Paleshi kind of forcing him down onto that bottom line, and I mean, if the 07 has a choice here, Jimmy, do you take the outside? I mean, it seems like he's got some really good runs, especially on that restart in turn number 1.
I mean, he's the one controlling the start this time, Carl. So I mean, it's up to the 81 to use or try to time it correctly in order to get that same run that the 07 had, to take advantage of being on the outside this time. But it is tough when you are in second place and you're sitting alongside the leader. You might not be in a position where you don't want to be, and it's just a split second, and it's amazing how much a car can pull ahead in just a fraction of from putting your foot on the pedal and pushing it down the floorboard. So we'll see how these drivers kind of manage this out, and see how the rest of the field does, as some of these drivers have made some pretty big moves, either not coming into pits or whatnot. But right now your biggest mover is Todd Potton, with being in P number 11 of 13 spots.
Yeah, started shotgun on the field, did the 31, and right in front of him, Tim Williams is up quite a few positions as well, in 9th and 10th place right there. But we are going to be getting green one more time here. Pace car is going to make that left-hand turn, and he's got some good grip on that pace car. That thing just rips into the pits. But we are back racing here at Pocono. Great start by the 07, easily going to clear the 81. And one way or another, whether he's the control car or not, that 07 has got these restarts down pat for sure. As we head off into turn number 1, Paleshi going to stick as close to him as possible. A little bit of a battle for third, where it looks like the 74 Franklin going to clear the 34 of Brandon Muir, drifting up, getting close to Joshua Divers coming through turn number 1, but Divers going to make the pass on the outside here. That is your top 5 heading off down into turn 2.
So just looking back on the rest of the field here, on top of Brandon Muir there in P number 5. As they're kind of fanned out just a little bit, I think they're fighting for position. So we'll go ahead and go back around Tim Lee, because it looks like he might be in the Hornet's Nest right now in 41 of Dalton Kilrow on the outside.
And how about Michael Pratt sending it in here on the outside, using that way outside line. Probably not too many marbles out there yet, and it's good enough to keep him right there in line with the 02, and going to get to the outside now of the 24 Tim Lee, as well as him and Kilrow having a good restart right here. Thought about for a second there moving to the inside, but he's going to take that outside line. Looks like Pratt is trying to work that middle line in, and it's working pretty well right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good line through there, especially being able to carry that speed, and the tires still being in big push, as these drivers got to snaps on their caution at the moment, so not much wear and tear. So it should be make their decision on when to pit maybe a little bit easier. I know they're running on 60% fuel tonight. I believe they usually run on 40%, so they get a little more fuel in the tank. We'll see how they utilize that, and who's thinking pit strategy now.
Mike Rideout had a bit of a bobble in turn number 2, lost a few positions, and it looks like he's finally got it straightened back out here. He's got Brian Dees on the inside. I haven't seen Dees out here for a little bit. He's certainly another one to keep an eye on in that MFRD team, and has had a chance at a few wins this season, but has not cracked through just yet, or has he cracked through for one? I got to take a look now and see, and He is. He did actually have one win here on the season, but I haven't seen him for a little bit, as he's only got 11 starts through the first 16 races here, but doing pretty good right now. But battle up here for the lead, or at least it's very, very close here. Paleshi not letting Lewis get away at all, as they are nose to tail. And then you got a little 4-car gaggle right behind him with Franklin, Mir, and divers diving to the inside right there to try and avoid contact. And the 2 of Todd Merkel. Top 6 stretching out just a little bit, or you're over 7th place, Mike Casey.
Yeah, 34 Bowden Mir trying to move forward, getting around 57 in the 2. Now moving up into Pete number 4, trying to track down the leaders, and I think he's pushing that car a little bit hard. So either he's going to get to the front or he's going to burn up the tires, because one way or the other he's going to get there. So he's just trying his hardest to keep up with the drivers up front here, as he is falling in behind Dustin Franklin. Now Dustin's got his mirror full with the number 34.
Well, it's one of those things, Jimmy, we don't get to talk about it too often here, as it's a lot of green flag racing here in VVR. But when you're in a situation like this, if you feel like you have a fast car, maybe you feel like you had a bad qualifying effort, maybe you messed up qualifying and didn't even get a lap in, but you should be up there in the top 5, top 10. You start having these early cautions, it changes your mindset a little bit. It changes it from go ahead, just try and drive and be nice and cautious and kind of save these tires for a nice long run, or you just go after it. And it seems like maybe the 34 having a little bit of the ladder and just kind of going after it, and hoping that some more cautions here are going to help him out on those long runs, and maybe we won't have long runs to burn up those tires as much as he's driving this thing a little hard. But good battle back here, as D's going to get to the inside of Moreland and make the pass, heading off down into turn number 3.
Yeah, so good move there by the 17, getting to the inside of the 12, completing that pass and moving to the next position. Is a lot of battling on the track right now. You got the 45 and the 72 now here battling for P number 7, that's currently occupied by Mike Hasty.
Yeah, I think some of these guys listen to the pre-race, and Jimmy saying that it's hard to pass here at Pocono, and they're basically putting their virtual figure up. It's saying here, you want to pass, and here you go.
Yeah, I want to answer. Got the here with Maxwell Caldwell leading them around here. So kind of a small breakaway, but these drivers here are pretty kind of strung together. Ooh, a little bit of bump there between Ty Marasco and I believe Boston. No,
and green. That earlier incident, trying to work his way back up through the field here, and I believe did he get back out there as a 3 wide now down the front stretch? You want to talk about passing here? You go 3 wide now, as the 1 and the 19 are both going to get around the 71 here, but the 1 of Marasco is a lap down after having to tow back into pit lane, so he's trying to work his way up here and make sure he's in a lucky dog spot if they were to get another caution here. So he's certainly got a lot to play for, and he can't just kind of lay back there and wait. But up front, we've got a battle for 3rd, as the 34 goes to the inside of the 74, and Mir going to dive it off into turn at number 3. Certainly driving that thing hard to try and get up there, and he's got himself 3rd position. Heading out of the corner, got very close there. That's Franklin tucked right up behind Mir down the front stretch, giving him a little shove and helping them. Both of them catch up to both Lewis and Paleshi.
And sometimes what happens, you get a pass done, and then we don't want to lose. They lost a 10th or 2, one just a little bit, and some drivers, since it's early, they'll give it a shove. And most of the time, 2 cars could go faster than one, and I guess they're trying to close that gap on them first 2, so they don't get away and have the opportunity. They got somebody high back on the wall there a little bit, and I think it was Tim Williams. Yeah, Tim Williams a little bit high there. I don't know if he scraped the wall just a little bit, but it looks like he got passed for 3 positions following for Pete number 11.
So So already completing lap number 18 here, as we've had about 10 laps since the last caution, and these drivers are starting to spread out here just a little bit. It looks like the 47 well off the pace behind the field here, and then the 31 is back there as well. And I believe not the 31, I thought maybe came into the pits, but I believe he was involved in the last incident, and maybe just came down and tried to get the repairs done manually without using the fast repair. He is unfortunately suffering the consequences of that right now. But up at the front, we've got the top four covered by about a half a second, and it's right what we like to see up here. Justin Lewis, Andrew Pileshi, Brandon Muir, Dustin Franklin, your top four. Then about 2.25 seconds back to fifth place, Joshua Divers, as he's fallen off the pace from these guys, and he is leading that second pack right now, which involves about 6 cars from fifth all the way back to 10th place, as Brian Dees now cracks the top 10.
So they're getting kind of settled in like little packs. It's good to see, drivers, kind of in that same mindset, trying to save tires a little bit. I don't know if anybody's trying to save fuel so they don't have to stop one more time. I mean, there's so many different strategies that can be going on with some of these drivers, but you don't want the leaders to get too far out. And right now, those leaders they're not battling. There's some passing going on. And you got Brandon Muir up there. EMP number 3 was looking up over the pressure on that 81, but it's kind of just falling in line here until maybe he can get a move or a position, just that right run on the 81. But 81 looking to go to the outside of the 07.
Turned around the mid corner and just kind of drove it to the outside line and made it stick. And luckily for Justin Lewis, he's able to slide up there into second place, as the 34 was making a run on him as well. But again, top 4 right there, covered by less than a half a second at this point. So these guys are certainly the class of the field at the moment here on lap number 21. You see the gap back to now Todd Merkel leading this field from 6th place, but Dalton Kilrow all the way out to 7th place now. Again, remember, he started from pit lane, just barely joined the back of this field at the start of this race, but he has since worked his way up here to 7th place now, diving into the inside of, Divers, and trying to work his way around here for 6th.
Yeah, so trying to at least no time. He knows he has a task at hand here, starting out of the pits, trying to make his way up to the field, and not too far back from the leaders. Ooh, what happened to Brandon Muir? Muir's down into the pits here on lap 22.
I think this might be just scheduled pit stops here, as these guys, about half the field, have not made any pit stops yet. The other half of the field came in under one caution or the other. So this could be the start of the first round of pit stops under green, as Mir is into the pits. It's going to leave Pileshi and Lewis out here kind of by themselves. They left Dustin Franklin back there a little bit, so maybe Franklin got held up by the 34 coming into pit lane. We'll see if any of these guys are takers this time by, as Kilrow now makes the pass on Joshua Divers, but yet nobody going to come into the pits this time. So maybe Mir just going off a different strategy. Looks like back there Mike Hasty going to come in this time.
Mike Hasty deciding to dive it in along the way. It looks like Tim Williams coming in as well, locking it up there and coming down the pit entry, trying to get every single ounce of time for pit entry without getting that black flag. But back here with Brian Dees now up into P number 8 currently with some of the drivers pitting. But yeah, Andrew Pileshi, Justin Lewis, Dustin Franklin, and Todd Merkel have yet to pit at all. Dalton Kilrow was out there, came in at lap 8. Joshua Divers, another driver, elected not to come in. And you have Michael Pratt, Brian Dees, Tyler Hill, and Eric Blount. And then John Garrett came in at lap 9. So yeah, still a few drivers out there that have not pit. Just wait for them to come in here, as it looks like right around that 23, 24 lap time frame. So we're going to see at least 2 more pit stops.
Yeah, as the way it's going right now, it's certainly going to be a few pit stops here tonight, and it's what we typically like to see. It usually mixes up the field here a little bit, but it could also stretch out the field. So we'll see how this all plays out here. But already on lap number 24 here of 80, big run here by Brian Dees, goes to the inside of Pratt down the backstretch here, heading off into turn number 2. This is, in most vehicles, going through turn number 2 side by side is a scary, sketchy situation, but here in the next gens, they have a little bit more grip and you can handle that outside. We see the 77 just backing out and maybe saving a little bit of tires here early on, but Dees is going to make that pass very easily, move himself up into 7th.
Good move, good drive there by 17 so far. We'll head back out front, see how our leaders are doing. It looks like Andy Fleshy's still out front over Justin Lewis and Dustin Franklin. Still hanging on to them fuel tank and older tires, just trying to get maybe a few more laps in. I wonder if they're trying to maybe push it to they need to make one more pit stop.
I think either way, it's gonna be tight. I mean, obviously with guys like Meir, Hasty, Williams all coming in there on lap number 22, there's no way that they're gonna make it on just one more pit stop. I mean, if you're getting out there to closer to 30, you can feel more comfortable. I mean, you gotta understand that there's been a couple cautions here, so we've had probably about 4 or 5 laps, maybe even more, under caution here in this first round. So you figure if you get close to 30, if you end up going green the entire way, you have a chance at least making just one more pit stop. But if you're coming in here as early as some of these guys, Dustin Franklin now coming into the pits, I don't think these guys have a shot at making it on just one more stop. It's going to be 2. But a good little string of cars right here, led by Dalton Kilrow, as these guys are right now in 3rd place, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it looks like 7th place right there. Michael Pratt still hanging on as well, but quite a long way behind our top 2 guys. But all these guys still have to come in and make their first pit stop.
Yeah, Dalton Kilrow, obviously, sitting there in P3 right now, and he is 5 seconds back. Right now we see the 2
Merkel also pulling off into the pits.
Yeah, so leader came in, relinquished the lead over there to back to Justin Lewis. And Dalton Kilrow is just under 5 seconds back. He has a slew of drivers behind him. He has Joshua Divers, Brian Dees, and Michael Pratt. 11 spots here tonight. Usually when we see him up this far, he's up like 20 plus spots, Carl. But like you said, I think tonight he went out there and maybe he just didn't want to qualify all the way in the back and get some of those early passes out of the way. But finds himself there in P and number 5 currently. He did he come in? Yeah, I think he came in. Yeah, no, we know he came in. So Michael Pratt came in there at lap number 8. So yeah, these drivers, I'm sure, are going to try to extend this fuel run out here, especially the ones that were in on lap 8. So maybe they only have to make one more stop, but it's so close, and they're going to have to really stretch these tanks out.
Yeah, it's definitely still going to be a stretch for these guys. We do see our leader, Justin Lewis, coming into the pits, Joshua Divers, Maxwell Caldwell into the pits as well. All the guys right now in the top 9 have come in under one of the cautions or the other, so they're still going to be out there for a few laps. They're going to try and stretch this thing out as far as possible, but I mean, you figure, given these leaders here, they're pitting here on lap number 26, 27, it figures out that, at best, I would say the fuel run is maybe 25 laps long, because you're going to be able to save some fuel under those cautions. So, I mean, to make it to the end here, you're going to have to get pretty deep here in this run to make it on just one more stop. It's going to be a stretch here, but excuse me, Dalton Kilrow from the pits is leading this race. So certainly we've seen the 41 quite a bit here at the front of the pack. Had to do it the hard way here tonight. Not sure what the case was, if he just missed the start of the race, if nature calls, or you need to get a drink, whatever it is. He missed the start of this race, had to start from the pits, and he's made up for it. Made up quite a few positions. He is in the lead right now. He's kind of still make his first green flag pit stop. He pit on lap number 8 under caution, but he is in a good shape and is really fought back here at the beginning of this race. looking like most of the guys that came into the pits only taking fuel on the pit stops here, so saving those tires maybe for that next pit stop.
Yeah, so now you have your who was the leader before the pit cycle really kind of started happening. You got the 81 back there, and Pete number 10. So it looks like Cade Green has decided to come in. He came in first time at lap 3, so again another 27 laps there for that driver. So looking like that 27, 28. So that means that these few drivers up front, the top 6, you're looking at what's the 35, 36. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this thing all under caution, you're looking at about 33, 34. These guys should be coming into the pits, I would say, and from there, it's going to be a tall stretch to make it on one more stop. But we'll see how it all plays out. As we've got a pretty good one now, finally starting to shape up here, and yeah, actually, maybe as I'm back thinking my math here. They're going to need to make one more pit stop. They're all going to need to make one more pit stop, but I think these guys out front are still going to have to make 2. They're going to have to come in on time, and they're not going to be able to make it all the way to the end. So
yeah, they should be pitting here probably about 4 to 5 laps, and if they add, obviously, you see 27 on top of that. So yeah, they're going to have to stop at least one more time. And that's what I'm saying. They might have, when they came in and pit around laps 8 and 9. They might have been able to pick away some of them extra laps that some of the drivers would have to save in order to not take a second pit stop. So we know everybody's going to stop at least once. I think these top 7 have the chance, depending on how they conserve their fuel, to maybe only have one. And I mean, you got to think, their pit lane's what, 45 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it's shaping up. It looks like it's a good chance that basically everybody in the field right now needs to make 2 pit stops. So if you figure that, I mean, Dalton Kilroe, Brian Dees, Michael Pratt, all these guys are in the catbird seat. They have to make their pit stop here, their first one coming up here pretty soon, but they know that they'll need to come in one more time, but everybody else is going to have to come in 2 times. I don't think there's any way that even one of these later pit stops like Cade Green, if he makes 25 and 25, he's getting very, very close to making it on the end. But these guys have pit on lap number 22, 23, even up there to Andrew Paleschi, lap 26. I mean, if they're making roughly 25 laps on a tank of fuel, 25, 25, and 26 does not equal 80. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this works out. But Eric Blunt now going to be the next one to pull off here into the pits and leave your top 5 out there, all to pit for their first time here on the green.
You got to think, we're sitting here just thinking about possibly, what we might do. But these the drivers are out here, they're driving. They're trying to get around the track quickly and hit their marks and not get into the wall and stay off each other. And you can sit here and just start thinking about mass, and hopefully their fuel calculators kind of pinging at them, or maybe somebody's watching them and being like, hey, you're pretty close on fuel, and maybe helping them out. Maybe somebody has a live spot. But you see Brian Dees, Michael Pratt coming down here on lap 34. So again, only 26 laps, which would put them, once they come back out, that would put them at that's it. Those drivers that came in, they only need to make one more stop after this one.
Yep, exactly. And I think everybody else in the field is still going to need to make 2. So this get very interesting. And this is all well and good as long as it stays green. If this thing has a yellow, throws everything right out the window. But as it stands right now, Dalton Kilroe, Len McNeese are first and second. Should be making their pit stops here in the next couple laps, and it's going to cycle back to Andrew Paleschi. But it's almost 2 different races here right now, and all depends on not making a mistake heading into pit lane, that's for sure. And we'll see and make sure that Dalton Kilroe got that thing wound up in time and did not get a penalty. But you have to look pretty far back here till you get to Len McNeese. He wasn't second, but he is a good distance back, and he's going to be able to go around another lap here because he pit on lap 9, so he's got an extra lap of fuel in that 84. But he is still out there in front of everyone right now. He is your new leader until he comes into the pits. Alessi is going to be able to overtake Dalton Kilroe, who looks like he got away with it one way or another. It had to be very close as he locked up coming in, but no penalties here for the 41. He's going to get away with it, and he's going to get back away in 5th place the way it looks. But there it is. Everything that was set up is thrown out the window. The 6 of Eric Blunt crashes in turn number 3 the way it looks, and take a look and see what happened. Just got loose, and that is not the way you want to be pointing. He's looking for turn number 4. He's not going to find it. He's going to find the outside wall coming out of 3, and that was hard impact. You remember he was involved in that earlier incident as well. Towed it into the pits. That could be the night here for Eric Blunt.
Yeah, speaking of it, where his incident happened, right there, after coming off of turn number 3. That's one of the times I've been at this track where my seats were, and definitely, by far, probably some of the best action actually coming. You can see the whole tunnel turn coming down through 3, and actually seen Davey Allison crash there, and his hood went flying in the air, probably about 50, 60 feet the one year. So definitely a lot of action coming out of that corner, and you can see right there, Eric Blount, being a victim there to turn number 3, trying to get that speed down to go down that front stretch. That throws a big wrench in everything, Carl. So you have drivers that have pitted. You have drivers that probably want to come back in and top off. You got probably drivers maybe thinking about tires now. Like if they didn't take tires, maybe think about taking tires now. I mean, there's a lot going on through drivers' mind right now. It's a critical point of the race with this caution coming out, changing everything up in a moment's notice.
Well, I feel like guys like Dalton Kilroe, he's still in a very, very, very good position, regardless of who comes into the pits in front of him. He came in there, he got his fresh tires on lap number 24. I think we should see just about everybody come into the pits this time by, and I mean, if I'm Kilroe, I'd be thinking about coming in and just hopping off as well, just in case. But he is going to stay out there. Looks like Brandon Muir going to stay out as well. And for Muir, I'm not sure I understand staying out, as he last pit on lap number 21. So unless he thinks another caution is going to come out, or maybe he's going to come in next time by to top off. But the majority of the field got to come into the pits, other than the guys that were out there and just recently came into the pits. They are all going to stay out there. They know they can make it on one more pit stop. All these guys that are in here now will now be able to make it on one more pit stop. But I see a lot of cars going up and down. A lot of guys taking tires that did not take tires before. And we got a brand new race in our hands. Brandon Muir out front, Dalton Kilroe, Brian Dees, Tyler Hilton, John Garrett. Our top 5 is made up of guys that weren't out there towards the front in the beginning of this race, but they're out there now.
And Mira's fighting to get up there and get to the front, and he's found himself there. He's going to get a lap lead here, whether it's under caution or not. Still get that lap lead and maybe some much needed points for the championship. That's ongoing. But yeah, you got a lot of the MFRD guys coming up through here. You had Dalton Kilroe start from the pits. He's sitting in P number 2. He's with a comeback here. They're having a good showing here. Currently in P number 3. Tyler Hilton, we haven't talked about him too much tonight. He got involved a little bit earlier in an incident there in that 02. John Garrett was sitting pretty with maybe with a pit strategy. Now he's going to have to, battle it out. Michael Pratt, the same thing. You've seen him come in, top off of fuel. So not a fuel disadvantage by any means. So, but if they have already had their tires changed, people back there, and it looks like Len McNeese and Andrew Alessi, Cade Green, those drivers could be back there on new tires now. So, could maybe help them out here with 42 laps still remaining.
still got a long race to go here. We've had a lot that's transpired so far, but not even at halfway. And when we get green here, we'll still not be at halfway. We'll have a lap before we get there. So a lot can still go on here, but it's been pretty interesting here so far, especially with the different pit strategies. And now, like I said, that's kind of all thrown out the window, except again for that 34 Brandon Mir. I'm still kind of scratching my head on that one, as again he last pit on lap number 21, so he should be able to go to lap number, you figure 46, 47, maybe 48. So it's still not enough to get you all the way to the end. I mean, right now, again, you're looking at 25 laps roughly on green flag running, so you're gonna have to get to lap 55 to be able to make this thing all the way to the end. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, or maybe we just get some more yellows and just throw that out the window as well.
Well, that's what Mir's gonna want, and I mean, it's so far kind of working there in his favor with, there's been a few cautions, so you kind of roll the dice here, and I mean, it's a chance to take, and maybe he just wants to get up there and get up in that clean air and just get some running in around the track up front. And we have seen passing, obviously, but we'll just see. The other, maybe he's going to be up there, and maybe he's got tires still in the pits. I don't know. I mean, they get one set or two sets, so it's definitely going to be an interesting race here, the way this thing goes. But the pit car is about to peel off. We're about to get this thing back under green.
It's going to be in the hands and feet of Brandon Mir here on the restart. We are back racing here. Everyone's back on the loud pedals, heading off down into turn number 1 here. Brandon Mir, Dalton Kilrow at the front of this field. Looks like Mir is going to get a good restart, enough to clear the 41. And he will be your leader into turn number 1 and getting a very nice jump here. And the field will head off and make it clean through turn number 1. And it's easy to say, but it's hard to do on those fresh tires, those clean tires, those cold tires. Getting through that first corner can be a bit tricky, a bit treacherous, and I think the only one that had maybe a close call was Paleschi there in the 81, but everybody making it through and back up to speed.
Yeah, there they come down through turn number 3. Single file for the most part, except back, not mid-pack, they got a couple of double wides going on back there, so we'll hop on board to see what's going on back here on Team Green and number 12 of Orland, as they continue to battle back here in 13, 14, 15, 16, so real busy back here in the back of the pack. I call it the battlefield call because these drivers back here in this part of the field, no matter what series we're with, we see the 71 kind of checking up there for the 74. But yeah, this is like where we get some of the hardest racing, where these mid-pack drivers trying to, move forward, whether, maybe they accidentally overdrive the car, or they're, maybe it's a leader that was in the front and just kind of got stuck in the back trying to work their way through. So this really is the tough part of the race. Any time I've been in this part, it's hairy. Some of the battling up front, there's like 2 or 3 guys, and back here you got 4, 5, 6 drivers just battling for every single spot.
Well, again, it's the reason that cautions breed cautions. It's the calm before the storm when you're coming back to the green, and everybody knows that's as close as you're going to be to that many cars all at once, and it's your chance to not have to work, a half a lap or maybe a full lap to try and get around one person. It's your chance to get a chunk of guys all at once, and that's why you see a lot of hard racing on some of these restarts. Battle now for the lead. Kilrow to the inside, and he's not going to be able to clear Mir off of turn number 2. Still going to be battling. Ryan D's right back behind them, trying to look and figure out which line he's going to take. He's going to follow his teammate down to the bottom through turn number 3, but Mir fighting hard, not giving up there on the outside. He's going to have the run coming off the corner. Still going to be Mir down the front stretch, but it looks like the 17's trying to drag the line down with his teammates on the inside, and Kilrow is going to clear going into turn number 1.
So it took that whole front stretch in order to get Mir to see that back on number 41, but now you have the 17 that is able to get around. So
Oh, and there is a move right there. The 34 of Brandon Muir goes sideways, and looks like he might have gotten a little help on that one.
Yeah, definitely heavy battling here, but he had the 0-2 to the downside. Oh, and I don't know if he decided to make a left, but catches the front bumper. Takes the 34 for a ride down to the inside wall. We'll pull out another caution here on lap number 42. So single, well, can't say single car totally, but definitely another caution here as we are now over the halfway mark. So New Mir didn't want to go to the pits, but he's going to be going down there this time in order to get some repairs done on that number 34. See where he is at on the track right now. Yeah, he's out there. Still got some damage. Maybe they have to pick up the pace car first, I guess.
We are, past our halfway point right now, and I guess for Brandon Muir, it throws his strategy, whatever that strategy was, out the window, and he can now pick a new one. But unfortunately, he is the result of this caution here, and now he's going to fight back all the way through this field. Dalton Kilroe's at the front. His teammate Brian Dees in second place. And then the 0-2 right there of Tyler Hilton having a very good run here in third place, but a little close and a little sketchy on this one here as we take a look at it one more time, coming off of turn number 2, and it could very well have been a bit of net code here involved, but it looks like some pretty clear contact, and not sure really who was at fault there. I mean, it seemed like the 34 was coming down maybe a smidge. It seemed like the 0-2 was kind of holding the line there, maybe just trying to get a little side draft, but either way, it didn't pay off nicely for the 34.
No, and you can just see how tight they are. They're trying to get that side draft, and it almost looks like the 34 wanted to come down and just wasn't clear. But you can only kind of. I mean, obviously we're slowing this thing down to kind of see what happened, and I'm even gonna rewind it a little bit more here and hop inside of Mir's car and to kind of see his steering wheel. What's going on there? Let's see, go to cockpit camera, and you can see the little red tape at the bottom of your screen. And as I hit, and you'll be able to see his movements and where he's trying to put that car. So I'll go here, quarter speed, and you can see him staying behind the 17. That's not like he even went left, and just I don't know, maybe some netcode or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe it was netcode that kind of started his move down there to the left, because it seemed like he was already trying to correct it to the right. Yeah. Coming off that corner, unless he's got the steering wheel offset a little different. But that is going to bring us under another caution here at Pocono, and Dalton Kilroe blinking out here a little bit at the front. Hopefully he gets that thing cleaned up a little bit, as you see him right in front of Brian Dees, blinking quite a bit, and hopefully that's just a little spur of the moment thing here. Hopefully that wasn't the reason that he had to start from the pits here tonight and showing his ugly head right now. But we are on lap number 44 here of 80. Kilroe, Dees, Hilton, Lewis, and Pleshy, your top 5. Then you got Garrett, Hasty, Merkel, Divers, and Franklin in your top 10. A few cautions here tonight, and I mean, it's a little racy here tonight at Pocono. I will say that, and again, cautions tend to breed cautions as they group the field back together, as we said, and everybody gets a little more anxious to try and get some positions. But typically Pocono seems to be a track that spreads out a little bit after it gets going. We've seen that on that first run, but a little bit of a bobble by Eric Blunt is kind of maybe what started this snowball effect here, and unfortunately it's another caution here, but we're going to get back going at green here, if I can finish that sentence, and it's going to be in control by the 41 this time of Dalton Kilroe, and we're getting close to that time where, I mean, you need to start figuring out what you're going to do here. Obviously, it's going to be one more pit stop for the rest of the field, but depending on how much you're saving fuel, depending on when you came into the pits, you can pit maybe a little bit earlier or later. So it's not out of the question for some of these guys that are I don't want to say mid-pack, but your guys like Andrew Pileshi that are back there in 5th or 6th place right now. He's going to need a little bit less fuel than some of these guys in front of him. So as long as he can hang with these guys, that little bit of time that he's going to have to make up, he can be done right in pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to it, when you see, who is that coming around the back there? Is it the 77? But if, yeah, it looks like the 77. I'll stay back there. I probably stop for fuel topping off, so, looking like he's a let down, though. Hold on a second, let me pull up the cap timer here. See where everybody's at. Michael Pratt 2 laps down. Something happened with the 77. Maybe a penalty of some sort.
I'm trying to look back through myself. I don't see that he was involved at all in these last couple of cautions. Actually, at one point he jumped into the pits. Looks like back on lap number 38. I did not see that. Not sure exactly what happened. Maybe some connection issues, but we are back racing here at Pocono. Dalton Kilroy on the loud pedal and a great restart. He's going to jump to the outside in front of his teammate Dees as they head off down into turn number 1.
That's our first 3 kind of getting around the O2, and the 81's going to use that outside, see if he can get that momentum run for the O2 as well. As they come around a treacherous exit of turn number 1, heading down that long straightaway, heading down to the tall turn.
Hero Dees, Lewis, Pileshi, your top 4. Tyler Hilton making up that top 5, but he's going to get shoved to the outside here a little bit. John Garrett down to the inside, but now a little bit of a crossover maybe from Hilton as he's going to look to the inside and try and get a run here into turn number 3, but not going to be enough. John Garrett's going to close it down here, down to the inside and trying to get a run, but Hilton not giving up. Gets a pretty good run off the corner, not going to be enough to get alongside of Garrett, at least at the moment, so he's going to fall back in line.
Okay, so you see Joshua Divers down the inside this time. In that lower line, the drivers like to stay right around that bottom seam to the second seam up. Oh, this is 74. Dustin Franklin able to hold on there.
Yeah, for better or worse, unfortunately. As that 74 has probably got some damage, he takes it off into 2, and that thing doesn't want to turn great going through the corner. As you see right there, Brandon Muir coming into your picture. He was 3 wide, heading off into turn number 3 there. He's going to get to the inside of Moreland as he's trying to fight his way back up through the field.
Yeah, we know the 34's got speed. Now he has to work his way all the way back to the field to catch back up to the leaders, and it's always going to bring some time. But you got some good drivers back here with him as well. So you got a lot of time right behind them. So a lot of action going on here, and I'm sure you kind of get frustrated when you kind of get to the back of the pack and you know you got a fast race car.
Bit of a gaggle here, a bit of a cluster back in the back half, or the middle part of the teens here, as we got contact there. And how did Moreland and everybody survive that one? Moreland was sideways, got a bump from behind even when he was sideways, and somehow saved it, and we are still green and racing here. That was very, very close to being another caution, but they will survive, and I'm sure hearts are racing right now, especially in that 12 team.
Yeah, it's these cars, I don't know how much time you actually have with the next gen car, but this car is not the easiest of 4 wheels to keep underneath you sometimes, especially when it gets out of control.
Yeah, don't tell that to Marlon, as he had a heck of a save right there. And man, some guys are having some trouble coming off of turn number 1 right now. We've seen a couple guys in the wall, a couple guys getting a little loose. So turn 1, the exit at least is becoming a problem. And big move there by the 71 of Gherardini as he went to the inside, but it was pretty abruptly going into that corner. And now here comes Marasco to the inside of Moreland. He's going to make the pass. and moved himself up into 17th position. So we've seen a lot of guys go back quite a bit as Moreland gets into the wall off of 3. But go back in this field, even go a lap down, but most, I think, are back up into the lead lap here and starting to pass cars for position once again. Ty Marasco, one of them, Brandon Muir, another one, trying to work their way back up through the field, but right now they are all chasing the 41 of Dalton Kilroe in the lead. Lewis has made his way back into second place. Pileshi back into third as they both got around Brian Dees. John Garrett still holding down fifth over Tyler Hilton. Maxwell Caldwell, Joshua Divers, Mike Hasty, Cade Green, and it's Cade Green going to make up your top 10 as Green and Hasty doing a bit of battling right now in the back half of the top 10.
It won't be too long. We'll be in that window where they'll be able to make it the rest of the way. So, let's kind of. What do you think might be going through some of them drivers? You think some of them, as soon as that they get that green light that they can make it the rest of the way, they're gonna come in?
Well, I know what's going on in the minds of the 81 and the 07, and that is let's work together and catch Dalton Kilroe. As you see the 81 shoving the 07 all the way down the front stretch. I mean, I know this is the distance of a super speedway. I didn't think we'd have super speedway, bump drafting here, but that's exactly what we've seen right there. But as far as the pit strategies, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, again, taking it right back to what I said, it's not a super speedway per se, but you kind of want to come in with some friends because that draft does help you out. It does give you some speed, and you don't really want to go in there by yourself if you can help it. So now's the time to figure out, if you got any friends, if you got any teammates, when you're going to go in for that last pit stop, so you're not coming out and losing a ton of time. But it all depends on how many sets of tires these guys have as well. If they have a set of tires, if they're feeling frisky, if they feel like the set that they got on right now is good enough to make it last maybe a little bit longer, and maybe you decide to throw on just 2 tires on the outside and take a gamble to try and get a good chunk of time on the field. A lot to play for yet, and we've still got a little bit less than 30 laps to go, but it's all going to involve a pit stop with everybody out there yet, and that's really where the fun's going to be.
Yeah, you see Dalton Kilroe when they can kind of maybe help break the draft just a little bit, so you can keep driving down to the inside of the big D07. But a yellow flag is out yet again here on lap 52.
Ooh.
And finally starting to check up here as they cross the start-finish line, so not quite sure what happened. Maybe the 71.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing... see something back here. Oh, Chris Moreland. So, go to, I think it was Garadini. We'll go ahead and play it from here because I think this is where it happens. Ooh,
and actually, right,
Garadini.
Hard impact between the 74 and 76. And Garadini tried to whoa up and keep to the inside there, but he gets collected in the mess right there. But yeah, that was some big impact between Franklin and Rideout. We need to take a look at that one more time because that was pretty vicious, at least for the 76 there. And you see a lot of pieces flying off of that car as these drivers went through turn number 2. Again, you can go through turn 2 side by side. These guys weren't even there just yet, so not sure if the 74 just got tight mid-corner and the 76 kind of sent it to the outside, but take a look at it here one more time. And the 76 of Rideout. Oh, not sure what.
74 just no grip. Gets into the 76 like he was tight.
That looked like it was questionable there. We're not going to say anything here, but that was a high entry there for the 74, and seemed like he was pushing up quite a bit, and then all of a sudden it really pushed up right as the 76 went to go on by on the outside. But that's going to bring us under another caution here, and the field is coming in other than Brandon Muir. Brandon Muir decides to stay out one more time and going to take his chances on a later pit stop. But Jimmy, this is very close here. This is tantalizingly close to making this thing on the end. I mean, if you're coming in on this lap, you should be able to make it all the way to the end. If you decide to come in a second time just to get a little splash and make sure, then you're good to go and you can just kind of hammer down the rest of the way. But be interesting to see who decides to come in maybe a second time here under caution, and we'll see if Mir and Moreland decide to come in at all. I mean, Moreland's got to be coming in here pretty soon regardless. I mean, he should only be good until about lap 61 before he's going to come back in, so I'm not sure if Moreland stayed out here to maybe try and lead a lap, but Brandon Mir staying out here as well is going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I would imagine. And I've only these two drivers. If I just miss the pits, then and I can come down this time. But I think I'm just gonna have to say. I mean, precautions could be precautions, but even then, everyone else is gonna stay out, and you're gonna go in the back anyway. So I don't know. If I'm rolling, I might come in right now, but you know, it's really kind of obviously up to them, and you know, they're the ones looking at their fuel gauge. But I think Moreland has some damage on that car.
Yeah, I think he's tagged the wall a couple times.
Yeah, there it is on the right front there.
Yeah, that right front certainly banged that a little bit. He's not been friendly to the outside wall out of turn number 3 for sure, and I think even out of turn number 1. But it's enough that's got him in second place right now. But I would expect to see the 34 and the 12 coming down pit lane this time by. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe SDK is wrong, and we missed another pit stop by these guys. But
no.
Interesting. Question mark. Jimmy, we got 26 laps to go. I don't know what's going on right now.
No, I mean everybody else that has come down in the pits here about 40 or 53 can't.
That all makes sense. I can handle that.
They can make it all the way. Even Michael Pratt is on the lead, back on the lead lap. So you even got Tyler Hilton. He's in the pits right now. John Garrett, Tim Lee, Len McNeese, Mike Rideout. You know, all coming down in the pits here, and that's back 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th positions. So, you know, basically saying, hey, we can make it from here. Let's go in and get our fuel. We got half a lap under caution still. I believe they're still under caution. The lights might be, you know, lights are on. So they have to catch back up to the back of the pack. So.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for Mike Rideout, he was able to get that thing back and use a fast repair, get all cleaned up, and it looks like Hemi's trying to catch back up to the field here as well. But yeah, I mean, a lot to play for yet. 21 cars still in the mix here, and going to be very interesting. It looks like the 71 still got a little bit of damage there on that Cubby Cadet machine, but still in here with a chance. And really, anything can happen at this point. And once again, Brandon Mir's got me confused, but more so, I think Chris Moreland has me confused up at the front of this field. But maybe they're thinking that everybody's going to have to pit one more time anyway. I don't know. I mean, I like the move by Tyler Hilton on back there, coming in there and just topping off on fuel one more time, because if you're anywhere close to being there on fuel, you want to make sure you got enough. So that way you don't have to save it all. You can just hammer down the rest of the way, and that's what these guys are going to do for sure. Brandon Mir looking to drop the hammer here and get this thing back under green, and he's going to do so. A little bit of a slow start there on the inside line. It's going to mix it up here, and right up through the middle, here comes Maxwell Caldwell. Already passes Dalton Kilbrough on the start. Right up behind Chris Moreland right now, heading off into turn number 1. And Moreland doesn't turn at all. He goes right to the outside wall and brushes it. So now the strategy's really got me questioning what's going on here for the 12. But Brandon Mir trying to get away here. Justin Lewis in his second. Maxwell Caldwell in third. But, I mean, the cautions could end up reading cautions here once again, as the pack is very close. And, man, I don't know what's going on here with the 12, but that thing will not turn.
It does not want to go left, that's for sure. And you see the 81 Andrew Fleschy trying to make his way to the field is, I don't know why he's quite so far back, but trying to get through this traffic as best he can to get back up front, as we only have 25 laps to go here, or make that 24 laps to go here at Pocono.
The reason he is so far back is he took tires. Everybody else taking just fuel only on that pit stop. 81 decided to take some fresh rubber here, trying to drive his way back up through the field, currently in 10th place. Everybody else in front of him is on used tires to some extent, as looks like Kate Green maybe getting into the wall on the outside of Divers right there, as Palestri's going to go to the inside to try and take another spot here from Poston. Going to do so into turn 2.
Yeah, and you can see how much pressure tires can really benefit getting some of the lower angles that maybe some of the other drivers can't quite get down into. We see the 81 coming down towards the apron, be able to get the acceleration and the stick that he needs in order to make the pass here. Still fighting with Potson for that P number 9 spot. So at 81, obviously, kind of late to the game, just a little bit, missed first couple of races, but been strong throughout the rest of the season so far, trying to get that 81 machine back up front for a good finish here tonight. But right now, Brandon Muir is still out front, Paul. Just that he needs gas.
Yeah, at some point he's going to need to bring that thing in. He's got a few laps for it to still pay off, and maybe that's what he's looking forward to. I mean, maybe he's looking for another caution here later in the race, and that's when he can come in there. Maybe he's got a set of tires in there waiting for him. He can top off on fuel, get some fresh tires, and maybe that's what he's banking on, is everybody else coming in and either having to take tires or what the case is. I don't know. I'm going to give up on thinking here at this point. I'm just going to sit back and watch this race and commentate on it instead of trying to think about what's going on in the heads of some of these drivers. It's got me a little confused, but look who's joined the picture here. The 95 Maxwell Caldwell. We've seen him fastest in practice at a pretty good qualifying effort up there in 4th place. But now he's up into 2nd. It's later in the race here. He is running down this 34 and trying to stretch away from Justin Lewis and doing so down the Long Pond stretch here. So maybe Maxwell Caldwell, I haven't talked about him too much during this race. He's got something for the end of this thing.
Yeah, speed. I mean, he definitely had him there in practice, and now he's out there and knows that there's 22 laps remaining, and probably got some new shoes on that machine and just trying to march its way forward. And if he knew what we know about number 34, I wouldn't even battle him too much, to be honest, because he's either going to try super saving and lose a bunch of spots, or he's going to have to come in the pits and give up pretty much all the spots, because there is 20 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I don't think he's going to, but I would stick behind that 34 and let him tow me away from the rest of the field here. But he's going to dive to the inside in turn number 2 to try and make this pass for the lead. Get a little spice coming off of there. Still going to be side by side down into turn number 3, but that was very close to possibly being a big one here at Pocono. Off the front 2, getting in a wreck coming out of 2, that would involve probably a lot of cars, but he did save it. Lives to fight another day, and he's going to have to fall back in line. Maybe that looks like he's going to try and get a little bit of a side draft here off the 34. But all this is doing is letting everybody reel them back in here as Lewis trying to get back up there, back in the mix. Right behind him is Brian Dees. Dalton Kilbrough rounding out your top 5. It looks like a very tight pass there as Caldwell is going to make the pass on Mir. Mir right behind him. Thought about crossing him back over, but he's going to fall back in line. And it is 95 Maxwell Caldwell out in the lead.
I mean, as far as Brandon goes, man, he's got some serious pace, but yeah, I'm just going to say yes.
I can hear you scratching your head, Jimmy.
I mean, we have a 24-hour race coming up tomorrow, and we got a little bit loose coming out of 3, so that's gonna big momentum shift there. It's gonna allow the 07 by, but I'm just trying to think math here. I'm always thinking about fuel, and obviously we don't drive the car for 24 hours straight, so we got teammates in the car. So your teammate doesn't have to math, man. We do like, that come in, so they, you take that weight off their shoulders, and maybe I don't know. Maybe he's got some super calculator.
Well, it's one heck of an abacus. That's all I can think about right now. But either way, it is Caldwell out front. A little bit of a bobble there allowed Justin Lewis to get on by for 2nd place. Alessi now has moved himself into 4th, so back up here in the mix is the 81. Looking to the outside here of the 34 in a turn at number 3, and you've seen him kind of utilize this outside line to get a good run on the front stretch. It does so again. A big move here by the 81 to the inside of Mir for 3rd place.
81 moving forward, so scratched my head a little bit on that one, but I didn't know he had an extra set of shoes in the tank. So here he is marching forward. So smart food doing smart things for the 81 here tonight, moving them back into the top three for putting another podium finish. Maybe. So we definitely have some movement throughout the field, and anything can happen. Brandon Muir's still out there. Brian Dees doing a fantastic job with Dalton Kilrow right behind him in sixth. Ty Marasco, another MFRD driver, some tough break, but it's driven all the way back up into P number 7. John Garrett's up 11 spots in the 66 machine. And P number 8, Mike Hasty. We didn't have to talk about the 72 very much, but a caution flies here at lap 63 for Tom Hudson.
And I'm not sure if the 31 is a teammate of the 34, but I think after the race he may be, as that has got to help out Brandon Muir.
Oh, we got on the apron.
A bit of a touch of the apron, and
a
pretty good job of saving that thing, keeping it off of everybody else. And just a little bit of a tag of the wall. May not be too much damage there to the 31, but doesn't collect anybody else. So that is the big move right there. And he's going to get that thing back going.
You can see how he is trying to get going again now. Just the car and the tires being super hot like that. He had basically no grip at all to get that thing to go forward. But eventually slows it up enough to where the tires could probably grip the asphalt and get moving forward. But yeah, Brandon Muir. I'm sure we will see that machine. I'm hoping we'll see that machine come in. Maybe he's going to feel safe. I don't know.
Just stop, Jimmy. He's not going to come in. He's going to make that thing last about 60 laps on fuel. I'm reserved to that fact at this point. Maybe he doesn't have a pit crew. Maybe they left for the day. They got tired of working on that car, whatever the case is.
Maybe they're eating ice cream.
They're eating ice cream, exactly. But either way, the question is, does anybody else come in? Does anybody else have a set of tires? I think if you got any tires in the pits right now, heck, even if you're the leader, you got to come in and take them. You've seen how Pilushi drove through the field on those fresh tires. Here comes the field, and this is music to the ears of that 34. He knows everybody's coming in here, and at the very least, grabbing some fuel, but probably taking some tires. If he's got tires, he's got a chance to hang with these guys now, and he's certainly got the speed to do it. I mean, he was tough to pass with those older tires, so this is going to be very, very welcome news here for the 34. But everybody down pit lane except for just a few: John Garrett, Len McNeese, Tyler Hilton, Chris Moreland, all electing to stay out here and going to try this thing from the front of the field.
No tires for the 34.
Well, he was good without tires, so I mean, we'll see how he does here coming back out. Want to send a thank you once again to the sponsors here of the series, Gold Line Guardians, Forward Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs, and thanking everyone out there tuning into the broadcast here tonight. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get yourself in the CRN Nation and in touch with everything we have to offer. As we got tons of racing week in and week out, and this thing is 16 laps to go, but it's far from over. I mean, this thing can go 100 different ways, and
it's still over 32 miles, Carl.
There's
plenty of mileage left for some of these cars, and seeing Team MFRD, a lot of their cars went up for new shoes along with the 95. There is a little bit of damage on the number 41. I just noticed now. It's hard to see in the black, but if I go to this camera here, I can show you all.
You can see when it goes sideways here. You can see that front end's pushed in.
So definitely might have trouble being out in front, but we've seen weirder things, or sometimes damage has no effect. So we'll see if Dalton Kilrow can take Team MFRD. Obviously, he's being followed by Brian Dees and Ty Marasco right behind him. So we know those drivers do work together, quite often, and have a good time racing. So we'll see if they can work together and get back up front. But right now, out front is going to be the 66 of John Garrett. So he didn't come down into the pits, and Len McNeese finds that Western Auto 84 machine up front as well.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we got 21 cars still out there, and if I'm not mistaken, I think all 21 that are still out there are now back on the lead lap as Michael Pratt gets his wave around. He is on the lead lap. Hemi Ghiardini is on the lead lap as well. And realistically, I have no idea who's going to win this thing. I mean, we got the guys up front here, the top three of Garrett, Hilton, McNeese, all electing to stay out here on the last pit stop here. You got Andrew Pileshi right there in fourth. I would say if you had to put some odds on it, he may be the favorite, being up there that far. Brandon Muir is still up there, but he's on some older tires. But you know, I have no idea. I mean, Justin Lewis led a bunch of laps. He's back there in 10th. With Dalton Kilroe, who is won many races here this season and has looked good here tonight. He's back there in 12th. Brian Dees, his teammate, right there behind him. I mean, Michael Pratt back on the lead lap right now. Yeah, he's back in 20th, but dude's been passing people, you know, since before I was born. The way he's doing this driving this season. So the fact that he can come from 20th, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So who you got? Who you think is going to bring this thing down? Let us know in the chat. Let us know who your favorite drivers are. And man, 15 to go. It's going to be 14 to go at the line. John Garrett, new leader out front. He's going to be the one that is going to drop the hammer here first. Get this thing back underway. Pace car makes that left-hand turn. It's going to be 14 to go at the line here at Pocono, and we are back racing. John Garrett gets a great start here. He's going to clear Len McNeese as they head off down to turn 1.
So here they come down to turn 1, 2 by 2, trying to get everything they can as they got 14 laps remaining.
Side by side for second, Len McNeese and Tyler Hilton. You know, Pileši's going to want to get by these guys as quick as possible. He goes to the outside, and everybody's going to make it through turn number 1 nice and cleanly, heading off down. Maybe not, as it looks like that might be Mike right out in the back, getting some severe damage once again. And I mean, I didn't see anybody getting to the outside wall, so it looks like he just loses it by himself in the middle. Big little bobble there, and right in front of Maxwell Caldwell. Another one that we didn't mention as far as having a chance, but that is some major damage and some. You see some fenders ripping off of that car once again, and that could very well be the end of the night here for Mike Rideout, as he has used his fast repair from earlier in the night. But Jimmy, another caution here, and we're going to have less green flag laps to go. This is certainly what the guys that stayed out want to see. John Garrett, Len McNeese, Tyler Hilton, they want to see this thing, maybe even get another yellow flag or two to get them closer to the end, and less green flag laps means less time that they have to hold off these guys that are trying to charge through the field.
Yeah, I mean, it plays in favor for some of these drivers that decide not to come in, and you know, they don't have the new tires. It doesn't give a chance for their tires to actually cool down a little bit, so they get, you know, better grip. So you know, older tires, just because they're, you know, worn to like 80%, it's the heat in the tires that really make them difficult to keep under you, and you don't want to when they're hot and burn them up real bad. So these, you know, caution laps allows them tires to cool down just a little bit, but they're still super sticky, and they should work just fine here. I think John Garrett and Len McNeese and Tyler Hilton kind of sitting in a pretty good spot, but Andrew Pileši's been fast, and we've seen him out front in the 81. He's been fast, you know, every race that he's been in for the most part. And right now it's just pit strategy call by these first couple drivers that has to hold off that 81, and some of the other drivers have taken new tires.
Again, I have no idea who's going to win this thing. The only thing I do know is everybody in the field, including Brandon Muir, are good to go on fuel. It took quite some time to get to this point, but the 34 is good to go on fuel. It doesn't matter how many green and white checkers we have, but good for him. Good for him for sticking it out, and he knew his strategy was going to pay off. I mean, we were just confused up here, but that's why we're up here. That's why we don't, you know, we just get paid to sit out and watch these drivers on the track. We don't get paid the big bucks in points for driving out there and making these calls. It's probably a good thing, Jimmy. It's probably good that we're just up here watching here. I'm sure we may be the cause of one or two of these cautions out here, but gotta be interesting to see how this thing plays out. Again, some guys towards the back on fresh tires. We got some guys at the front that decided to stay out. man, it's all to play for. We're going to come to the green this time by. It's going to be 11 laps to go.
11 laps to go. There's still so much racing here at Pocono. It's amazing. I mean, you got to go every single corner 11 more times, and there are 3 distinct corners. So 33 corners remaining for us to get a winner. Unless something happens, and we end up going into a little bit of overtime and pulling out that green-white checker. But they've been battling hard here tonight and making moves and getting around each other, making pit strategy calls, and really pushing the edge of these cars here at Pocono.
Well, how about the Fort Worth screen printing team here? We got John Garrett in the lead, and then the 74 right there of Dustin Franklin right up in the mix here as well. Both those guys up in the top 5. We talked plenty about the MFRD team, but we see some new teams coming to the front here at Pocono. It's in the control by John Garrett here once again on the restart. Can he get a good jump again and get ahead of Len McNeese? Pace car is off, and the 66 is on the loud pedal. We are racing again at Pocono. Good start from the inside as Garrett is going to clear, get to the outside here. Looks like the O2 of Hilton trying to get in the mix right there. A little bit of a smoke, and not sure if somebody got into the wall, but we're 3 wide heading off into turn number 1.
3 wide back there, the Hasty, the 57 Divers.
And there it comes to a head, and the 95, the 1, the 2, the 19 all getting involved. Some big impact there. The 1 almost goes over on its side, but you seen it kind of coming. It's getting to the end of this race, and 3 wide not working out right there.
And the first one's coming up is Hemi Gardini, but he gets around them initially. It hits that apron and comes out of the track.
Yeah, there's one distinct bump there on the bottom on the apron, and unfortunately he hits it, and it looks like he kept that thing off the wall. He got very close. Maybe just a little smooch to the outside there, but I mean, that's one way to get involved in the wreck and really not do any damage. I mean, very, very close call there with the 95. But then he hits that little bump and slides sideways, and at best maybe a little smooch with the outside wall. But we'll take a ride on board now with Hemi and take a look at what he's seen and how close that was. Just getting by the 95 there.
Come on, good.
Maybe a little rubbed off the outside of the car, but he goes for a bit of a ride on the inside here, as it's not exactly flat, and luckily for him, doesn't make any contact or very little contact with the outside wall. Everybody getting on by, and it's a good view of the of Long Pond, Pennsylvania, right there, Jimmy.
I mean, yeah, it's on the outside there, over the side of the trees. But yeah, that was one heck of a wreck back there, and I'm just kind of. Obviously, we got Todd Merkel. This is Todd Merkel. Let's see what happened to him as he loses his bumper as well.
Well, you see that tire's not exactly pointing the correct direction here.
Yeah,
he was involved in that wreck as well.
Yeah,
as he got kind of sandwiched up into the outside wall. But all started by the 3-wide battle seat up front there. Looks like the 95 drifting up a little bit with Maxwell Caldwell into Joshua Divers, and the 1 gets into the 95, spins him around, tries to go to the outside, and unfortunately
meets Merkel.
Big impact right there, and it's one of those things you don't see it right away. It took a little bit for the impact to actually take place, but then hard impact on the inside there for the 19. The 1 almost goes up and over.
Dukes of Hazzard right there.
I think I've seen a stunt show like that down at Disney once, but that's not exactly what Time Rasko wants to do. And it looks like it's going to be end of the night for possibly a couple of these drivers, as the field is whittling down here, Jimmy. We've got under 10 laps to go now. And again, for John Garrett, Len McNeese, and Tyler Hilton, this is exactly what they want to see out front.
Yeah, I mean, John's like, do one more of those. Like, I'll keep that behind me. I'm not going in for fuel. I'm not going in for tires. Like, I'm good where I'm at. I don't want to be back in that mess. And then up front, a lot of times is obviously the place to be unless you have a misshift, and then you end up, losing a ton of spots right up from the rip. But the start does lie in the lead for the 66 on McNeese, and now you have the 0-2 of Tyler Hilton. Obviously being able to fight his way and keep himself up there at that top 3 right now. But the 81 still sitting in P number 4, looking to get back to the front where he started. But then you have Dustin Franklin started in P number 5, Brandon Mears there in P number 6 at the moment. Justin Lewis we've seen up front sitting in P number 7. Mike Casey's been pretty quiet. Has had a pretty decently clean race to find himself in his current position. Dalton Kilrow banged up number 41, has to try to bring this thing home there for MFRD along with Brian Dees as Ty Marasco got taken out. Joshua Divers, we've seen him up front and do very well in a lot of races as well. Chris Moreland sitting in 12. Todd Boston starting towards the pack of the packs and P13. Michael Pratt's up to P14. Hemi Gardini has managed to get up into 15th place, but we're back on the green, and John Garrett starts this thing as we start a single file this time with 8 laps to go.
Looks like we got a quick restart there, and it's decided to go single file here for the restart. So John Garrett going to get out to a good jump again. Lamborghini's going to be in second. And right there you see Tyler Hilton going to hang on to third for the time being. A big move there in the back from the 41 of Dalton Kilrow, trying to get to the inside and almost making contact there with the 72 as they head off into turn number 2. And maybe going to get through here very close again there with the 34 of Brandon Meir, trying to make his way back up through this field. Back in 7th right now, but on the outside, here comes Andrew Pileshi trying to make his move, and you see again, he gets a great run off of turn number 3 to the inside. 7 laps to go. Both of them close in here on John Garrett. Here comes Len McNeese to the inside.
Great run by those two drivers, the 81 and the 84. 66 of John Garrett able to hold them off from that charge, heading down into turn number 1. But the 81 just tags the wall slightly coming out of turn number 1 as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is holding up the 66, but it seems like he's down a little bit on speed. But especially that 84, it seemed like he stepped out to try and make a move on Garrett, and it's like he hit a wall. He could not go any closer. But now it looks like he's going to lose another spot here. The 0-2 of Hilton brushes up against him, gets loose, but saves it going through the corner. Great save there by Hilton. He's going to have to regather and cool those tires back down. On the outside, Justin Lewis going to make the pass. Looks like Dustin Franklin going to move up into 5th place as well. 6 laps to go, and it's still John Garrett out front.
66 doing anything he can to hold back the 81. They're going to make him use every single inch of those new tires that he put on in that last pit stop. The 66 doing everything possible to hang on.
And moving into 3rd place now, Justin Lewis around Len McNeese, and here comes the inside. Dustin Franklin trying to move himself into 4th. The 81 looks to the inside, can't get it done just yet, but he is right there in the mix. Here comes the 41 of Kilrow, already past Mike Casey as these guys are 7th and 8th. Right behind all the battling that's going on up front. The line this time by, we got 5 to go.
5 more intense laps, and I'm sure John's like, 66, hang on.
Yeah, Larry's like, hey, guys, you mind throwing another caution out there? Hey, once or twice yet? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you get the same amount of points if it ends under caution or on the green with a win. And there's nothing in the standings that say wins and then wins under caution. A win is a win. You would take it either way, I think, at this point. But looks like he's got a battle on his hands. He's going to have to fight for this thing. Pileshi right up the backside here, trying to put the pressure on, especially mid-corner. He's going to look to the outside. Garrett's going to give him room for a second, but now he's going to fall back in line. And all the while, Justin Lewis reeling the 2 of these guys in. He is right there in the mix of this thing. And it's a 3-car breakaway at the front. Pileshi tries the outside, gets into the wall. Garrett's now going to give him some room, and that can be all Pileshi needs. to get on by Garrett, but he's got some company from behind, and we've seen it earlier in this race, the 81 and the 07 breaking away, doing battle between themselves. We may see it again, but they've got to clear Garrett right now, and it looks like the 81 will do so. Garrett doesn't have the room to move up. He is going to get passed by the 07 again. Heading off into turn 2, he's seen Paleschi move down there, and that was to give Garrett a little bit of a draft to hold him on the inside of the 07, make the 07 go a long way around. Some great thinking behind the wheel of that 81. Heading off into turn at number 3, the 07 of Lewis will clear, and at the line this time, 3 to go.
Yeah, it's an intense one here. As you got Dustin Franklin and the other Pete Scheme along with the 66 sitting there, and Pete now and Pete number 4 right behind his teammate. Got Dalton Foro behind him, but he's looking on here as these 3 are going to battle for the lead, and it's not over yet. Those 3 drivers could tangle up one another and make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett is hanging right back there. He isn't third yet, but if these 2 up front mix it up a little bit, he's going to be right there to capitalize. As I don't think Lewis is just going to be content riding behind this 81 for the last 3 laps. He's going to want to try and throw some moves in there as they head off into turn number 3. Lewis going to try a little bit of the move that Paleschi's been using all race long, going to the outside and trying to swing in there and get a good run off the corner. Paleschi a little bit loose. He's going to have to try and break the draft down the front stretch, back and forth here. It's still going to be Paleschi with 2 laps to go. The field pretty spread out right now, but Jimmy, I think this is the calm before the storm.
It'll be fine. 3 mile car.
Down onto the Long Pond straight. Garrett almost getting into the wall there, but he saves it. He's still within reach of these front 2 as Lewis trying to find a way around, and I feel like right now Lewis is just hanging back there and just given a lot of things to see in the rearview mirror for that 81. I don't think he wants to make this move until the last lap. He's going to have to do it now, though, as they come through turn number 3. White flag in the air, this time by Andrew Paleschi. Has got the lead, but not by much. Justin Lewis is right there. Garrett is right there. Next flag is going to end this thing. White flag in the air. What does Lewis have? Does he have anything? When will he make his move? Dies off on the inside into turn number 1, side by side for the lead.
And that outside is just so strong off of one car. He's going to get it right up, so he needs to fight these last few corners here to see if he can close that gap back again and try to make that move on that final turn. It's not going to be through the tunnel turn. He needs to set himself up for that last and final turn, or they come down to that final stretch.
And he does get a good run through the tunnel turn. Not going to get to the inside of turn number 3. Paleschi's going to try and block a little bit by going to the middle line to the inside. Lewis is trying to look and trying to get a run, a bit of a bobble from the 81, but it's not going to be enough. Paleschi, your winner here at Pocono in a close one. Only 0.09 of a second separating the top 2. John Garrett doing a phenomenal job of coming home in 3rd place. Kilroe fights his way all the way back to finish in 4th. Franklin, Hasty, Brian Dees, Len McNeese, Maxwell Caldwell, and Tyler Hilton rounding out your top 10, but man, a race filled with a few cautions out here tonight, but it gave us a spectacular finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, nobody likes cautions, but it gave the drivers time to breathe. It gave tires time to cool down. It really kind of made the drivers think about pit stops and strategies and where they wanted to be when it all come down to the end here. But yeah, your winner here tonight was going to be the 81 again of Andrew Paleschi, followed by the 07 of Justin Lewis, and then John Garrett. So we'll talk to those 3 drivers here shortly. We can't forget the rest of the pack, and we'll go ahead and bring that up on the screen right now after I get rid of the ticker. Right here. So here's your list of finishers night. And like you said, by .085 between Andrew Pilecki and Justin Lewis and John Garrett. And then Dalton Kilrow for fourth, and Dustin Franklin for fifth, and Mike Hasty, Ryan Dees, Len McNeese, Maxwell Caldwell, Tyler Hilton for your top 10, Todd Boston, Ryan Meir, Michael Pratt, Chris Moreland, Hemi Gardini, Joshua Divers, Tim Lee, Todd Purple. Those are your top 18, and then the rest of the field with Mike Rideout, Kay Green, Ty Maresco, Ray Radford, Eric Blount, Tim Williams, and Gordon Larson. But yeah, they are definitely, breaking it down right now is that 81 is maybe trying to pop the rest of the kernels that's left in the tank.
See what you did there, as the 81 Pilecki going to grab his third win on the season, but man, it was intense for a majority of this race, and with 10 laps to go, you had no idea who was going to win this thing. I mean, again, Pilecki seemed to be the favorite given his position and what he had to get around in the front, but it still was not easy, and especially not easy holding off Lewis. But we've got our top three here in the broadcast waiting room, getting ready to interview these guys, as the 81 doing his best to try and kill the tires, kill the motor, or whatever it may be, but he's maybe finally done. Probably can't even breathe inside of there with all that smoke, but we'll go ahead and start bringing in our top three. Going to start off with third place here tonight. Jimmy, why don't you go and take our third place finisher here tonight, the 66 of John Garrett.
Hey, John, Jimmy, calling up in the booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you.
You had yourself a one heck of a race. You started back 16 spots from where you finished 16 spots up from where you started, being the biggest mover of the race. So I guess our question is, like, how was the race for you? We know there was some cautions out there, and how did that play into getting yourself on the podium here tonight?
Yeah, I kind of trashed qualifying, so had to start, I think, 19th. It was not pleasant back there in dirty air, and just kind of pitted and fueled, and cautions worked out in my favor for a change. And once I got in the top 7 or 8, I didn't really want to give it up. So just track position was pretty important here for me. I know one restart I was 6th, and I threw it into the tunnel turn up under the O2, and it might have surprised him, but I knew he had a little damage, so I wanted to get by him there, and worked out, led some laps. I was on 10-lap older tires than these guys, so I knew it was going to be tough, and they're great drivers, so a podium is almost like a win for me.
I mean, we figured maybe one more caution would have gave you kind of maybe the edge. They kind of keep those two behind you, giving a little bit of time for their tires to kind of cool down and maybe last just that little bit longer that you needed. But you still walk away tonight here with a third place finish. So from CRN and everybody out there, I want to say congratulations and give you a little bit of time for any shouts you may have on that number 66 machine.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I raced here. I've raced here twice in real life, so that didn't hurt either. Always loved this track. Going into turn 1, going 180 is crazy in real life. But I just want to dedicate this race to my dad, he's been in the hospital for a couple months. He's slowly getting better, so I was hoping to get that win, but we'll take a podium for him tonight.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it and hopefully he gets well. But again, congratulations on that third place finish, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Yep, thank you.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 66 of John Garrett, and certainly thoughts and prayers out there to the Garrett family from CRN. Second place tonight is going to be the 07 of Justin Lewis, and Justin, teammates be damned. You put on one heck of a show out there. You led a bunch of laps with Pilecki right behind, but at the end, you were the one that was behind, and you were kind of stalking him there for the last couple laps. And it seemed like you had a couple opportunities to make that pass, but you seemed to kind of want to wait till that last lap. Do you think that was the right move there? Try and make one or two little haymakers there at the end, or do you kind of wish you would have taken one of those runs and made that pass earlier?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I thought the tire advantage would be a little better, like catching him, but I knew I'd be in trouble because I couldn't get off 3 like all day, and I struggled every time I come here. Like, I'm not a big fan of this racetrack, but turn 3 and I don't get along very well, especially on old tires. But there toward the end, I was actually starting to find something, and I was like, okay, well, Andrew has been lights out most of this league anyway. We're like dang near the same I rating, so we basically race each other every time we enter an official at the same time. So I don't get rid of Andrew. I pretty much know how he races to a T at this point. So
I mean, there is one way to get rid of him, but
yeah, I told him. I told him that I was like, do I turn him? I could turn him. But he was like, I drove in so deep to make sure you didn't do that. And I was like, I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it to you. But no, like once I got to his back bumper, like I couldn't get the run I needed to make a big deal. Besides what I did, like on the white flag, that was the only time I got just enough of a chance to even attempt anything. Which that's kind of a habit, like with these cars at this style track. Like I don't want to compare this in Indy, but this in Indy kind of has the same feel when it comes to getting runs. So someone has to make a mistake or something like that to get a good run, which honestly, like the tires that he had on that run were a little older. I think like 9 laps older from when I put mine on, something roughly like that. And I think in the long run, they just were better on that restart, which could get him moving. And then for me, like it took a couple of laps to really fire off the new tires. But all in all, P2 again, P2 to Andrew again, or the bridesmaid at the bridal again. Starting to get annoying. I might have to move him next week.
Eventually that bumper's going to come out. I mean, say what you want, and you're in the trust tree here. I know it's broadcasted, so he can watch it back. But we can black out that little bit of a conversation. if you just get something off your chest, it's fine.
yeah. I mean, I'm too competitive. So like, even if I was supposed to be a 5th place car and I still finished 2nd, I'm like, why didn't we freaking win? But that's just how it is. I mean, my sprint car energy gets out sometimes on here, and on this, you cannot race this thing like a sprint car because you will die. Like you just can't. But there with the new tires, I was like, this is go time. Like this is like 25 lap feature, track's good, primed up, watered down, go throw some sliders and tear offs, baby. But we didn't get to him in time. I wish that one caution didn't come out there to where I had like 2 or 3 more laps to get a chance, because I think I could have had a shot at him, but he was a little better on tire wear. As far as like when we had the long runs, he was about 2 or 3% better on both tires than I was, and I could not get off 3, so he had that advantage. And there at the end, it was just track position. Like I said, I don't think I could have done anything without being dirty, which is, I don't try to race that way unless someone, started it, then I'll finish it. But, it's really hard to do that on iRacing because,
Have you heard what Andrew had been saying about you?
He's talking crap, probably. Yeah. No.
We'll start it for him if you want to.
Wait, he's got to get tired of my cars just because we're literally on top of each other. Like we go to an NIS race, we're 5th and 6th, or 2nd and 3rd, or still battling for wins, and it's always how it's been. But here recently, we've both been getting killed in the same wrecks in NIS races. So I haven't ran a couple, and I know he hasn't ran a couple because our ratings are like within 10 points of each other at this point. So I don't know. Good job to him. Good job to you guys. Definitely got to go back and watch this one. I don't know how many laps I actually pulled off in leading in this thing, but I know that there at the beginning I kind of was trying to save and lead, and he was probably doing the same thing. I mean, we may be in the same team chat, but I'm sure our inner thoughts and how we're actually running this race are always a little different. So thanks to Todd. Thanks to VVR. You guys again. You guys make it fun, and yeah, I think we got a 4-week break here, so it's gonna be a minute, but it'll be kind of nice to take a little bit of a break, get some, probably do some yard work on Thursday, since the wife will probably be yelling at me about not doing that tonight. But anyway,
Don't let her know yet. I believe Indy is still going to be next week, and unless I'm mistaken, I think that the schedule just got pushed back 1 week. So
yeah, I'm not.
There's a break. I'll have to double check with Tim on that one now.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. I know it's up in the air from the whole thing they had last Thursday where like it threw iRacing a bunch of stuff, and they probably got our credit card numbers and stuff. But that's all right, go ahead. I don't have any money on there anyway. But
pick my debt. That's fine.
Yeah, go for it. But no, all in all, I think after how I did here, which I thought would be one of my worst tracks till the end of the year, Indy's been a fun place. I've been really good there. When we do get back there, I feel pretty confident in this car. I know in other leagues I've had almost a half-track lead under green flag pit stops, but that's with normal 100% fuel and normal tire wear, not, limited sets of tires and like 60% fuel. So that changes a little bit of things. But our pace has been good there. I'm sure I'll have to freaking deal with Andrew half the time. So we'll just have to see how that goes. And usually if we can race each other nicely, we can keep out the other dominant team in this league and hopefully outdo them too. Because I know when they're on, especially when they're all here together like full force. So they're a good group to race with. I have a blast racing this league. This probably became my favorite League 2 run. And I really look forward to Thursday nights now. So.
Well, a good finish here tonight to get your second place, albeit behind Andrew. And I'll gladly be the one that starts poking the bear if it means that it's going to be some harder racing between you guys. But
there you go. Tell him I'm like Dale and Earnhardt over here and saying I might rattle his cage at Indy or something. I don't know. Give him something good for when he comes up here.
Well, we'll do. Like I said, that we'll black out this conversation. It never happened.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on the second place. We'll let you go celebrate. And we'll see you possibly next week in Indy.
I'll see you boys. See ya.
Later.
That is your second place finish here tonight. The 07 of okay, wait for it. The 07 of Justin Lewis. And next and the last, we will bring in your winner tonight here, the 81 of Andrew Palesci.
Hey, Andrew, it's Jimmy. A call on the booty copy.
Yes.
Maybe you eat some popcorn. You eat some popcorn or something. You're trying to swallow something. Great job here tonight. You started the race with the pole, and then pit stops happened, and you ended up back in the pack. Had to work your way back up front. Ended up walking away a winner here, but your teammates like right on your back bumper. I mean, it's just a matter of time before he's going to be sick of looking at the back of your bumper. Maybe might have to rattle your cage a little bit. So I might want to watch out for future races. But anyways, you nudge them out here by 0.09 of a gap for the win here tonight. But we'll give you some time to kind of run down your race and how it was for you and how you had to come back up through the field.
Well, it was a lot of fun. By the way, Justin, that conversation was not blacked out. Just saying. No, it started off really good. It was nice that him and I got to start up front and kind of control the race for a little bit there, and then it kind of all started to unravel when we had the green flag pit stops, which we were on. I was terrified. I forget who it was that short pit us. I was like, what are those guys doing? What do they know that we don't know? And then we had the green flag stops. That was pretty good, and it was just kind of I've run a lot at this track before, so I've kind of learned like when to pit and when not to pit. And I didn't quite believe in myself on the call I made there, but I guess it worked. So, and it was absolutely terrifying having Justin bearing down on me at the end there. So it was because he was on, I think, 10 lap newer tires or something like that. I don't know.
Something like that. You guys probably have a better track of the drivers around you when they came in. We try to keep them up. We flash them up on the screen for the fans to see out there. But you definitely had a little bit older tires, and the advantage wasn't just quite as much. But maybe he's just driving. Maybe you need to teach him how to turn the steering wheel a little bit easier. So he doesn't wear him down, and then he can get a chance to get by that number 81.
Hey, this is just payback for Watkins Glen. That's all that's all I can say. So we're even now, bud. He would have had me. He to his credit, he killed it there. And if he hadn't, if I hadn't kind of known his weakness, which was turn 3, I guess, like if he had not kept his cards a little closer to his chest at the beginning of that, I think it would have changed how I drove it, and he'd have probably got me. He'd have probably got me if there was another lap left, but so I can't really complain. It's always fun racing him and having somebody to battle with. I was just telling those guys before that last restart that no matter how this ended, none of us could complain because this was a good race. It had a little bit of everything we had. The green, we had a couple cautions at the start, but we had a little green stretch there where him and I had control of the lead, which is obviously great. And you had green flag stops. You had some strategy mixed in there. Like, I think nobody that ran here tonight, unless they got destroyed or something like that, I don't think you could leave here too upset because it was a very satisfying race, no matter where you finished, I think. This is my favorite track by far, and it's just fun to win here.
Right. And, some drivers obviously didn't have as much luck as you two did here tonight. Being able to be up to the front. Some met the wall and had to tow a few times and come back and battle back and use the cautions to their advantage to get back in the lead lap, or just pit strategy in general, like John back there and P number 3. Not taking tires. Yeah. So just doing what he needs to do. He even has some real life time in real life on the track. So.
That's what he's telling me. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good to hear, the real drivers out here that got the experience of this track in real life and to come out here and have some fun. But it's also awesome just to talk to all the people. We had enough time. We talked to the whole field, but it's good to see that you guys are out there having fun. Some inner competition in between maybe some teammates and friends, and that's always makes it for even a better time. And it's not only up in the front, but I've seen it in the back as well. But you guys got some good competition. It's been a great league to watch. From CRN, we want to say congratulations, foremost. But before we let you get out of here and go celebrate, I want to give you a little time for any shouts you may have in that number 81.
Yeah, well, first of all, as always, shout out to you guys. You guys kill it every week. By far, I might be kissing ass here a little bit, but you guys, of all the leagues I've been in on a broadcast, you guys do the best job, and I mean that. So you guys kill it. Shout out to my teammates, obviously, Justin, Max, Todd. Anybody see where Todd finished? I think he made out like a bandit there, if I heard correctly, with the reset.
18th.
11th place.
Oh, okay, well, he tried. Yeah, Merkel.
Oh, yeah, Merkel, yeah, sorry, 18th. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I thought he did. Well, he tries his best, and he's very good for... He just has bad luck. But shout out to him. That's really what it is, man. He's just wrong place, wrong time.
Maybe you need to get him on board with another popcorn paint scheme or something. I mean, just get rid of that bright yellow. Maybe it's just a target back there.
Yeah, I had the Doritos one, and it was bad luck a few months ago at Watkins Glen. So,
right,
he can have that one if he wants. This one seems to do pretty good.
Well, again, thanks for the shout outs, man. We really appreciate it, and it's always fun having you up here in the booth and getting a chance to talk to you. And you do a fantastic job out there and competing with your fellow league mates. So again, congratulations. And unless you got anything else to say, we'll let you go on and get out of here.
That's pretty much it. I hate that it'll be a month before we get to talk to you guys again, but I hope everybody enjoys their summer break and all that. And thanks again.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Andrew.
Thank you.
That's your winner here tonight, the 81 of Andrew Paleschi. And yeah, we'll have to talk to Tim Lee and get the rundown of when we're going to be having our next race and when Indianapolis is going to be pushed to. But heck of a race here tonight. But one thing I'm taking away here early on, Jimmy, is I think we need to have a little tape delay just to save some of these drivers from themselves. And clearly we don't have time to black out any kind of conversation. We need a little tape delay here from CRN. But that way we bring it live and.
It's about 30 seconds right now. I don't know how much more I can increase it.
Well, there you have it, boys. You get in here in the broadcast booth, we can't save you as much as we want to. What you say is stand pat, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences. But heck of a race out here tonight. Yeah, there were a few cautions and a few mix-ups, and I mean, a lot of good racing now, a lot of close battling and plenty of passing here. I mean, Jimmy said before, the race is typically a pace that doesn't have that much passing, but that was not the case here tonight. There was plenty of passing, even some three wides. Most of the time, the three wide didn't work out too well, but guys still sent it in there, and they tried to make it happen. But great job by all the drivers here in the field, and we still had 17 finish on the lead lap. A couple of them had some damage and some broken hearts, certainly, after this race, as some of the guys used up their fast repairs early and then had another fast repair did not have another fast repair for that next caution. But Andrew Paleschi grabs his third win on the season in a close battle, less than a tenth of a second separating first and second, which is always fun, and then less than a second covering the top three as well. Thank you for everyone tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything CRN has to offer and join the CRN Nation. Thank you once again to Goldline Guardians, Forward Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs for their sponsorship, and Tim Lee for everything that he does here for VVR. It's been a blast broadcasting this season. So if we have a little break, we'll talk to you when we talk to you. But if not, hopefully maybe we'll get to talk to you next week at Indianapolis if it's still going to be on track for that. But for myself and Jimmy here at the Pocono Raceway, we'll see you at the track.